Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our She Leads sneak peek, meet the honorees. So this is our fourth year doing hosting the She Leads event, and every year we honor three amazing women that are blazing trails for young girls and women in San Diego County. And San Diego is really loaded. We have a lot of talent in here, a lot of people doing the work, and this is the final interview we have because our event is next week. If you don't know by now, you should know. It's September 26th. But we're excited to have Geneviéve here. And before we introduce her, I just wanted to share a little bit about Girls Inc. Really quickly. So, Girls Inc. inspires all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. And if you haven't heard that, you should know that by heart because it's our program pillars, is what we do: strong, smart, bold. Comprehensive approach to whole girl development is designed to equip girls to navigate gender, economic, and social barriers. And our goal is to support and empower these young girls to be healthy, educated, and independent. Our program models are also designed around these three words: strong, smart, bold. So we have our strong program focus, where we focus on mind and body wellness, physical, mental, emotional well-being for our girls. Our SMART programs support girls' academic success, college readiness, and STEM. We have a heavy programming focus on STEM. And then we have the BOLD program, where we focus on empowering girls to become leaders through civic engagement and social justice. So the emphasis is that we really support the whole girl. And when we say whole girl, I mean, it's about sustained and transformative approach to how we enable these girls to grow up and to take advantage of opportunities that are available to them. The girls are very smart. They are already smart. What we're making sure is that, they learn to use the voice, they have the resources and the tools that they need. And also a quick share of the demographics. So a lot of times when we talk to people about Girls Inc. is like, well, how do we work? We partner with schools. So right now we partner across 4 school districts and 10 schools from Escondido to San Diego. And then we serve approximately 650 girls per year, middle and high school girls. So our schools are Title I schools, 75% free and reduced lunch. And 90% of the girls we serve are girls of color from low income household. So, I mean, a lot of the data around these, as we've been around for a long time, so a lot of the data around these also showing the effectiveness of this approach to girl development. So I'm excited to have a conversation today with Genevieve, and I'll let my co-board member at Girls Inc., Monale, kind of do the introduction for Genevieve for us.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Monale. I currently work for a local San Diego SaaS startup in their product department. I also serve on the board of Girls Inc. San Diego and focus on our fundraising efforts and She Leads event, which we are focusing on today, one of their honorees. Today we're here for our annual She Leads fundraising event where we celebrate the power of girls, honor outstanding women, and raise support for our programs. Each year, we carefully select 3 trailblazing women who are making significant impact in our community. And today we're focusing on one of this year's honorees. And so I'm very thrilled to introduce Geneviéve Jones-Wright. Thank you for joining us today, Geneviéve.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
So as Lola was mentioning, I do want to give everybody a little bit of a background about you. You are a San Diego native, an attorney, an activist, and you were raised by your single mother, May, in Southeast San Diego. While in the 4th grade, you decided to pursue law after you were inspired by the achievements of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. You graduated from Patrick Henry High School, received your bachelor's degree from University of San Francisco, your law degree from Harvard University School of Law, and then Howard University School of Law, and Master of Laws from California Western School of Law in San Diego. You also served as a public defender for 13 years and ran for San Diego County District Attorney in 2018. And then again in 2024, you ran for mayor of San Diego. You do serve as the founding executive director of Community Advocates for Just and Moral Governance, also known as MOGO, holding government accountable for everyone, especially marginalized communities. You're also the founder of Motivation.In.Action, a professional motivational speaking firm that inspires people, particularly women and young women, to write their own stories and live with a purpose. You were also inducted into the San Diego County Women's Hall of Fame in 2021 for your lifetime of accomplishments and exceptional contributions to San Diego region, and just your tireless work impacting the community at large, which is something that Girls Inc. cares about. And we see like the entire alignment and partly why you are being honored by Girls Inc. this year. So quite a background, and we're
Yeah.
so lucky to have you.
Yeah. We're so lucky to have you, Genevieve. Thank you so much for all you do, because again, I think I just recently became aware of your work and now I'm following you. But this is why we do what we do with Girls Inc. We want our girls to see what they can be and more. So we did a little bit of mention about your background, and I wanted to ask you specifically about that. Can you tell us a little about yourself? What did you want to be when you were a little girl?
So when I was in the fourth grade, I was introduced to Justice Thurgood Marshall. And it was then that I decided that I was going to become a lawyer, and not just any lawyer. I was going to be a lawyer like him who used the law to make our world better. I didn't really know at the age of 8 or 9 what that would look like, but I knew that that is what I wanted to do. And that's what I endeavored to do, even though I never saw anyone else travel on that pathway. At that point, no one in my family had ever gone to college. I became the very first person in my entire family to go to a 4-year university and graduate. And I was raised by my single mother, as noted in my bio. And at that time, my mother didn't even have a high school diploma. And so here I was saying I was going to become a lawyer without having a blueprint. I didn't have anyone that I could talk to or give me advice or give me any wisdom about going down the path and that journey to becoming a lawyer, but I knew that that is what I wanted to do. There was another thing about Justice Thurgood Marshall's story that resonated with me. And it was that he graduated from Howard Law. And that's why that is so important to me, because I not only said I was going to be a lawyer like him, but that I needed to be trained where he was trained. And that was Howard University School of Law and HBCU in Washington, D.C. And so I'm just so proud that I went to Howard Law, that I was trained there, and that I am now an attorney in the same ranks as the Honorable Charles Hamilton Houston and Justice Thurgood Marshall and all of these other trailblazers that came before me. But when I think about how I grew up, as mentioned, I grew up in Southeast San Diego.
Mhm.
And I grew up in a world of duality where my family told me I could be anything that I wanted to be and that I could achieve anything that I wanted to achieve. But the outside world was telling me different things based on their limited beliefs and their projections and predictions because of where I lived in low income housing in Southeast San Diego, being raised by a single mother. And these were the things that impacted me, but that fueled my pursuit and passion for justice and equity. And so it really did start at a very young age. And also being so young and not knowing not one real life attorney, and especially an attorney who looked like me, I knew that I needed to become a person who could then be a representative, be a representation that young girls who look like me can be in this field and can chart new courses for their life. And so I often tell the story that the only attorney I knew when I decided to be a lawyer was a fictional character on The Cosby Show, Claire Huxtable, the mother on the Cosby Show, but that was literally the only lawyer I knew, and
Mm,
particularly a Black woman lawyer.
mm.
Amazing. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that you corrected me on how that you went to Howard University School of Law, because it actually ties into the bigger reason of why you went to law school and how you chose that law school to go to. So thank you so much for that and that insight on your background. I am curious though, what was your vision around practicing law? How do you want to use it? What things in society did you want to improve through studying and practicing law?
Even as a young child, I saw the law and the people who enforce it weaponized against my community. So I wanted to use the law to right the wrongs that had been done to my community and change laws so that they would actually work for all people, but
Mm,
especially those whose voices are ignored and whose lives are not valued or not honored. And so, for instance, my neighborhood was actually the first neighborhood that was targeted with gang injunctions in the city of San Diego. And I saw how these prohibitions on where people from my community could congregate or where they could live or how they visited and who they visited, how this impacted childhood friends and left our community devastated. And so I knew that I needed to do something about that. And I eventually did. And that came in the form of me being a commissioner on the city of San Diego's Commission on Gang Prevention and Intervention.
mm,
But this is one example of many of the injustices that I saw bear out in my neighborhood, where I decided that using the law would present me with the ability to make change for the people that I cared about and that were impacted by laws and policies that I felt were unjust.
Yeah, I love that because I think it kind of ties into what my next question was going to be around that law and the public office. So, as Manale shared from reading your bio, you have had a tenure with the public office. And when I think about our girls and strong, smart, bold, that bold aspect and just the education, the inspiration that we need to show them now so that they will learn to use their voice and make a difference. So I know you run for public office. Can you tell us a little bit more about your aspirations around public office and what you've done and what you're still looking to do? Because I know you're still doing stuff.
Yes. So my faith plays a very big role in my life. And when people tell me that I am courageous and they tell me that I'm bold, it really is because of my faith. And so I really want to start there. For me, serving people is the greatest assignment. And so everything that I do, I want to serve the people. And so when I ran for public office, both times, for me, it was a way for me to serve in a wider capacity, serve more people, and bring the voice of the people to the table, the average impacted everyday person whose voice is not heard. And public office for me is also a means through which to create meaningful change and to also inspire others to do the same. So with my runs, I wanted to do all of those things and also change the conversation, reframe the narrative, and empower others. So my aspirations for public office have really been simple, but I think very powerful, in that I just want to bring the voice of the people, people who are overlooked, people who are directly impacted, people who are never at the table, being able to give any input or insight into their experiences as people shape our policies. And I wanted to change that. I also want to change the narrative and challenge the status quo. And so I did that by taking on the establishment. And I did that with the mayor's race, taking on someone who was from my same party. I did it in the DA's race, taking on someone from a different party. It's not about partisan anything. It is about simply doing what you're called to do, no matter what is at stake, no matter how hard it is, and making space for people at the table. So for me, running for office was more than just a campaign, it was part of my greater assignment. And I really do hope and believe that my runs have inspired other people to be bold, to
Mm.
be unafraid, and to be willing to just stand up for what's right and to just speak truth.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that. It's very inspiring. And speaking about this theme of serving people, um, as you know, each year Girls Inc. puts on an all girls conference for the girls we serve. And the theme at the conference this year was She Speaks. And I'm aware that this year you were the keynote. I'd love to know why you found it so important to speak at this conference and the message you wanted to relay to these girls.
So it was very important for me to be present at the conference and to engage with those young ladies. I really, really wanted to be there because of the young ladies Girls Inc. serves. And that conference in particular reminded me, and it still does remind me, so I don't want to speak about it in the past tense, of the work that I did when I started my own nonprofit mentorship organization for young ladies from my neighborhood. Because as I said before, I was the first person in my family and among the first in my community, my little neighborhood, and in my apartments to go to college. And I didn't want to be the last. And so I started a mentorship program with my best friends when I came home from law school and actually during law school. And so it reminded me of that because we would have the same type of conferences for our young ladies every year. And so for me, I knew how important it is to be in the room sharing your story. It is so
Mhm.
vital to let our young girls know that someone is in your corner, someone who looks like you, someone who has been where you are, someone who believes in you, and someone who is pushing for you to dream more and dream bigger. And so, speaking with the young ladies at the conference was a way for me to continue my mission of empowering young ladies and to let them know that they're powerful, that they matter, and that they have their ability to shape their own futures. And so it was really an honor for me to be invited as the keynote speaker. And I will tell you this, I would not have missed it for the world. And that theme, She Speaks, resonated so deeply with me because I believe in the power of young women not only finding their voice if they need to, but using their voices. In this world, we are told as women not to be so loud, right? Not to be so assertive. And so I love that theme. And I felt it was so important to speak at this event because Girls Inc.'s young ladies represent our leaders right now and future leaders, our change makers, and warriors for justice of change. And I really just wanted to share my story and just let them know that no matter where you come from, no matter your circumstances, you can live boldly in your purpose. You can go on and do great things. And in fact, we expect you to live boldly and go on and do great things.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you. And thank you for being our keynote speaker this year. I wasn't able to attend the conference this year, but I've attended the last two. And I wanted to just share a little background on that. If you're listening and you are not aware, one of the programs that Girls Inc. puts together is we bring all these girls from all the schools we serve. We bring them together for a spring conference. And the keynote speakers are amazing, the theme is amazing, and it's a whole day conference. And so it's part of what we offer for these girls, like, at no cost to them, right? They have a full day experience that is just beautiful. So thank you for inspiring our girls through that event this year on She Speaks, which was very timely for an election year. But I wanted to ask you about the organization. Again, I talked a little bit about the demographic that Girls Inc. serve, right? Our girls are middle high school age girls. We also partner with these schools that are in, low income neighborhoods, that these girls might maybe be the first in their neighborhood for a lot of the education that they are getting, right? It's just being able to expand their view. So when you think about Girls Inc. and the people we serve, it feels like a question that you already answered because you just share your story. But I wanted to, to kind of you to wrap it up as how important do you think it is for organizations like Girls Inc. to exist? And how important are the programs put together?
Programs like Girls Inc. are crucial. We need programs like Girls Inc. When we talk about fostering equity and diversity, where we can build a future where girls can define success on their own terms, this is why it is crucial for us to have and support programs like Girls Inc. I'm going to tell you, as we all know, as women, that too often young girls are boxed in these outdated stereotypes, or they feel the need to constantly prove their worth or to fit in to certain environments that may have been deemed as a man space, right? In the STEM space, for example. So programs like Girls Inc. allow for us to empower our young girls to walk into any room, whether it's a classroom, a boardroom, a courtroom, and know that they belong there. And it's not because they conform to anyone else's expectations, but because their perspective and their presence are just inherently invaluable. And so programs like Girls Inc. really do play a key role in creating a society that doesn't just encourage our young girls to dream big, but also encourages them to actively work to remove the systemic obstacles that could be in their way. And so I can't speak more highly or strongly or more glowing of Girls Inc. because I see that you all are providing the means to making change and equal access to education and opportunity and support. And you're doing this in a very holistic way. And we don't have enough programs doing that. I will tell you that. But Girls Inc. truly nurtures the entire girl. And that's why we need programs, because our girls have so many different issues that they're facing. And we need to be there to uplift them, to celebrate them, to fortify them, to encourage them, and help to shift the narrative by empowering young girls to pursue their passions.
Thank
That
you.
is so, yeah, thank you so much. That is so inspiring. You have such an inspiring and beautiful story. And I love that your first thought is to really give back and really support organizations or start organizations that would have benefited you at that young age. I would like to ask you, what would you like to see for the future of today's girls?
To put it simply, I would say a world that is truly fair by all accounts. And what I mean by that is a world where our bodies are not subject to legislation, a world that recognizes our inherent worth, a world that nurtures girls' full potential and celebrates our unique voice, perspectives, and contributions. A world where we don't have to break glass ceilings anymore, a world where we don't have to talk about a woman being the first this or that, and a world where every girl feels empowered to live her truth and know that her voice matters. I want to build a world where the default term for professionals like pilots and engineers and scientists isn't automatically he. It's a world where girls can aspire to be anything and set their own expectations and see themselves reflected in any role they desire to be in. So, this question is a very profound one. And I would just say a world where girls grow up seeing women as the norm in every field, and where it's common to refer to a doctor as she and a nurse as a he. That's the world that I endeavor to see and endeavor to build, and a world that really shapes how girls see their possibilities as limitless, and just having a society that views young girls and women as people who contribute highly, because we know that when women are at the table, the conversation changes, the focus changes, the shift changes, we have more holistic conversations. And so I want a world that actually embraces women being at the table, and a world that really and truly gives our girls everything that they need to become everything they were destined and designed and created to do and be.
I feel like I had to pause after you said all that because it was just very you captured it all. So thank you for putting that so beautifully. Because as you're saying it, I'm just imagining there's so many areas where we need, this future world that we're all envisioning, and there's so much work that needs to be done now for us to get there. And thank you to all of us for doing our part. And if you're watching these and you haven't purchased your ticket to September 26th, our She Leads event, now you know why you need to be there in person. Genevieve is going to be there. Myself and Renale is going to be there. You are going to meet a team of amazing women that are doing their pits in their part of the world, are here in San Diego, making a difference. I could go through the numbers in San Diego for how girls are doing. We're talking about suicide rate. We're talking about health issues, right? This age is very critical for the programs that we're doing. And if you're following Girls Inc., you probably heard the announcement. Girls Inc., we just received a grant from Pivotal Ventures, and Mackenzie Scott is in support of Project Accelerate program. And we are super excited about this. If you're attending the event, you're going to hear more about this. This is the event that the grant is a matching grant. So it's the event that we're fundraising for. So every dollar that goes towards purchase of a ticket. So the She Leads event is not just for it's not just for women. We have men, allies all showing up. You can bring your daughter, you can get a ticket for a friend, you can gift a ticket to someone. We're looking forward to meeting you in person, partnering with you, sharing more about our programs. So if you haven't purchased your tickets, go to Eventbrite and get one now or two. The link will be in the chat as well, for anyone that is looking to grab that. But thank you so much, Genevieve, for being here today. And thank you for the work that you do. I feel like that's the bigger things, because you are doing so much in this space, right? And I'm glad we're able to get you on for a quick chat before next Thursday, which is about a week from now, at Green Acres, San Diego in La Jolla. Looking forward to seeing you all in person. And Genevieve is going to also be sitting on a panel with our two other honorees. And so you get to meet all three of them and the board and new network. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Genevieve.
Thank you for having me. I'm just humbled and honored.